This is the Unrefined Unwind podcast, and joining me are my hosts, Ryan.
Good afternoon.
And Caleb.
Hello, how we doing, everybody?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good, Caleb. Thanks for asking. Ryan, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm happy to be here with you fellas and ready to have a good conversation and a good time.
So, when we first started to brainstorm the idea of what this podcast was going to be about, obviously the first thing that kind of came up was the figuring out the name, and it ended up being, of course, the Unrefined Unwind podcast. And what does that exactly mean to you, Caleb, whenever you hear those two words together?
Unrefined, unwind. I think about it like this because you take off the un, so refined. I'm thinking like British guys kind of sipping tea, talking really posh and cheerio. And we're kind of doing the opposite. No offense.
Sophisticated.
Yeah. We're back. We're not, maybe not sipping tea, maybe sipping, a Bud Light or Coca-Cola or something. And we're just unwinding,
Or maybe even a coffee.
Maybe a coffee, maybe look, I'm not going to judge. Frappe, anything, whatever you want.
And Ryan, what about you? How does that speak to you, the title? As we were coming up with it, I mean, how did we get to those? What did you latch on to?
Yeah. I think the unrefined was really, just like Caleb said, we really just attached to that word. Everyone here is just an imperfect human, not just in the podcast, not just the host. We're all just people, exactly, trying to be better in any way. I think any sort of progress in development is what we want to try and focus on here. Have the conversations that we don't typically have in a really safe, comfortable environment, and that's the unwind portion. Is we're just having a conversation. We're discovering people's perspectives and having a good time and just enjoying each other's company while doing it.
I don't know. I want to get things like news, want to get into just personal stuff going on.
Absolutely.
Because that stuff, people can relate to. Like,
yeah, so almost like try to get into the catharsis nature of just talking about things, I guess, or not trying to be therapist by any means, but just opening up about the struggles of everyday life. And just mental health obviously is a important thing to stay on top of. So yeah, what about you, Ron?
I was gonna say my wife's she's a PA in a psychology clinic, a neuropsych, and you just hear it's really almost it's something that really needs to be talked about more. She comes home exhausted because of the types of patients. Like we're based out of Fayetteville, North Carolina, and there's a lot of military background, and there's a lot of just it's a high acuity area for mental health, and being able to have those conversations really is something that it's important to have. There's not a lot of people having that conversation. It's really not introduced until later on in life, where arguably it can be too late for some real help.
Yeah, and you obviously you've got some people that are advocates of mental health in the public eye, or celebrities or whatever, just big entities that have like reach. They definitely are understanding of how big that is, but still, I mean, it's like we're in the starting founder stages almost, like of talking about this stuff. It's like just a couple years ago it wasn't even cool. I mean, there's still a stigma around, I think, just opening up and getting making yourself vulnerable, just to go ahead, Caleb.
Yeah, I feel like the kids today, they'll come up in a kind of a whole different world about it, where maybe mental health is a much more open thing versus, I feel like we were kind of on that edge growing up, where
so you're saying there's more hope. You're saying there's more hope for the newer generation.
Absolutely. But we were more in that, especially with men. Like when we were growing up as like young boys, young men, it's like there wasn't as much as that. I don't think there wasn't as much of
no,
that.
It was definitely a brush yourself off, suck it up type of world that
Rub some dirt in it,
It's
you know,
it.
take it on the chin and just keep
Yeah.
moving, roll with the punches type thing.
And I know, at least personally, it's taken a lot of development and understanding, because I had a negative kind of view on medication and therapy and things like that, but they can be extremely helpful. My personal, so, you know, through talks with Sarah and, you know, I may never do it myself.
You have your own
but
forms of therapy,
exactly,
but you haven't seen. Yeah, right.
but I also have grown welcoming of the medication and the therapy route to helping people, because that's, you know, it's a chemical imbalance, right? Rubbing dirt on it isn't gonna fix
Yeah,
any of that.
right. Yeah, and right. And I guess that's a whole big
That's
other
gonna be a
can of
big
worms
topic,
that I'm sure
huh?
we'll
I
cover.
know.
Yeah, right.
Especially
Most
the
definitely.
dynamics of having, you know, a kind of a built-in therapist in your marriage. You know, that's got to be a
Yeah.
whole
Oh, yeah.
interesting thing.
True. That's a good
But
point.
I'm not saying,
Yeah.
You have a whole medical professional right next to you at you know, at your disposal. Not to make that sound wrong,
No.
you know, not disposable, but you get
Right.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, though, she talks with enough people. She don't want to hear my shit when she comes home.
Oh,
Too.
yeah.
No, that's
No,
that's a
she's
good
very
point,
caring.
yeah.
She would definitely be happy to, but
She'll just put the timer off.
Yeah.
You're
But
on the
you're a
clock.
man
Just
and you
remember you're
don't
on.
open up, right?
Right.
And Ryan, speaking of, you know, I mean, you said Sarah was, you know, obviously there to listen to you, but everybody has those guilty pleasures, you know, so to speak, that you are kind of ashamed of. And you
Yeah.
don't really realize those, you know, until you start living with each other. And especially since you're married
Right.
now, you know, obviously there's a whole different dynamic. So is there anything that she kind of uncovered or discovered about you that you know, maybe was a big talking point between you guys?
Yeah. So the main thing is it's got to do with the listening aspect, and it's my guilty pleasure is singing Jonas Brothers "Burning Up" in a duet
Okay.
form with my best
Okay.
friend Davis. Yes,
Okay.
the classic.
Classic.
So much so that on our wedding night, during one of the requested songs, I specifically requested "Burning Up" so that Davis and I could go on the dance floor together and just rock out
And
together.
we'll see, to be fair, I was there, but I, you know, just don't remember that. But you know, it was a great time, and I'm sure that this happened many times. What in your earlier days?
Oh man,
Riding down the road or something like that.
We would argue about which parts we could sing, because there was a part where we both felt was in our range more, so we sounded better doing it. So we would flip flop, and we would actually restart the song over and over again, switching parts. But man, I'll tell you what, we did that for some One Direction songs.
That chorus.
Oh my god, we would. Yeah, he was always Joe and I was always Nick. And we would flip flop some of the other parts, but we did that for One Direction. We did that. It was boy band material, man. We should have been in a boy band, but that's my guilty pleasure, just rocking out to some boy bands.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, you know, obviously we have those
Front Street Boys.
Yeah, exactly. Like the NSYNC, like Bye. I mean, come on. I mean, it's just a classic. It's just a classic. And that's my guilty pleasure song for sure.
I've got to tell you, when I was in second grade, I'm not a musician. These two here, Eli and Caleb, they're musicians through and through. They're very artistically inclined. I am not.
Easy.
I enjoy music, but NSYNC, actually in second grade, I actually auditioned for the talent show by doing Bye.
No, are you serious?
Yes, I didn't I didn't even get the karaoke cut. It was, you could hear his voice still too, but it was definitely one of the most
dancing. You were doing the
100%.
Were you dancing?
Yeah. It was the most embarrassing moment of my life, and I did not get into the talent show.
No.
I'm dead serious, unfortunately.
That sounds like it would have been a hit, man.
Yeah, I know. That's
what
I was thinking.
Enough, but what about you, Eli?
I mean,
you said boy bands were guilty pleasure, huh?
I mean, I told you, you know, the Bye. I mean, I have my own history with that, with a family friend named Josh, who is an incredible musician. But he was the man though. Like he literally knew bye, step by step move by move. And he's an incredible singer.
Wow.
I mean, he really just recreated those things, and he would just be in the living room, like with all of our families. You know, he would put on little shows just like at little shindigs that our families threw. And dude, he killed it, man. I mean, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
just love that song. But then, you know, as I got older, I started listening to that song and started playing it around friends, and they always clown me for it. But nah, I mean, my biggest thing, you know, music is, you know, it's kind of, you know, no shame in good music. Good music's good music.
Right.
But my biggest thing is just fast food, man.
Fast food.
I love fast food in general. Like I will go out to eat fast food, you know, 2 or 3 times a week, easy, 4 times, 5 times. No difference.
There is
You know what I'm
something.
saying? It doesn't make a difference to me. You know what I'm saying? It's food. It's I don't know if it's really good, but I
It's
mean
good.
that's my
No.
thing. It's terrible. It's completely terrible, but it's so convenient, and I swing by, you know what I'm saying? And I just pick me up a little cookout tray. You know what
Cookout.
I'm saying? Pick
Okay.
me up a little cookout tray, or you know what I'm saying, go to Sheets and get those little center pockets and get me a little personal pizza or something. I don't know. I mean, just
Sheets is a
anything.
sleeper, man. It
Anything.
is a sleeper, though.
I agree.
There is
I
something
agree.
they just put into fast food though that just makes it like addictive. You know, it's like,
Crack.
yeah, I love a home cooked meal too, but there's just nothing like, yeah, going to
Nothing
that
beats.
drive-through.
Yeah.
And then, but
Well,
like you said, guilty
yeah.
pleasure. There's some shame at the end too, because it's like you
It,
feel like
every single time.
feel like crap.
Every single time.
Yeah,
Yeah. Absolutely. What's your place, Caleb? Where are you?
my
What's your place of
my
choice?
placement. You know, I used to be a Taco Bell guy. I've kind of
Ooh.
transitioned more, I think, maybe back to McDonald's. But my real guilty pleasure, I don't even know if it's a guilty pleasure, just a weakness. My kryptonite,
Okay.
moon pies,
Yeah.
chocolate moon
Achilles.
pies.
Oh my.
And there was a time you could look at my car and you'd see 10 wrappers from moon pies, and it's
Holy crap.
it's
Now, are they in the front seat floorboard? Like, I got to get in your car, I've got to push out away
you're
moon pie
gonna push
boxes,
away.
or are they you throw them in the back seat?
I'll throw them in the back if you're getting in, but yeah,
Okay.
that's what they're for. But no, I haven't had one in a few months, and I'm doing good.
Did you?
Damn proud of it.
Yeah, I got
My
too
biggest
much
thing, man, is just anything glazed, like any type of glazed bread, like honey buns, donuts, cinnamon rolls. Like those are my
bread,
things,
sweet
man.
bread.
I need them. I need them in my life. You know what I'm
Ye-
saying? I got some donuts on the counter over there, and I'm gonna smash them here in a couple minutes. I mean, that's just fact.
I specifically remember you would pick me up, or you'd pick me up from the house and just nonchalantly be like,
Mhm.
"All right, we're going to Krispy Kreme. I'm gonna go grab 12 glazed donuts." And I'd look at you, and be like, "What the hell, dude? It's like 8 o'clock
Easy.
at night."
It'd probably be right before or right after we got done playing tennis or
Yes,
something.
it's all,
I
and it
mean,
just like you'd go grab a burger. The normal person would grab a burger. You're grabbing 12 glazed donuts.
hey man, and I was at my prime. I was still out there,
Smash 'em all.
just being a pure athlete.
Mm.
Athlete. No, I mean not really. But anyways, you know I mean
No, if
that's
only go back to those days when you could smash 12 and you know what I'm saying, go out and do whatever you wanted. Now I feel like I smashed 12.
I don't.
That's the end of the night.
See, maybe it's my pride or something. I still feel like I can go out there and go do that. You know, who gives a damn type thing. You know,
Yeah.
I might be a little bit slower and not be as efficient out there, but I can still get out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Okay.
but no, the tennis thing, man. That's kind of where that's where like you and I met, Ryan. Right? That's kind of like where our relationship kind of
Blossomed, I would say.
That's where we became friends. You know.
Yeah.
We were both new to tennis, I think,
Yep.
right? And we were both super competitive, and you know, during the downtime, rainouts or something, or during the summers, we would always get together and just try to get better. And we would be out there for hours. And you know, when it was raining, you would come over and play some ping pong at my house because that was the next best thing to tennis, right?
Yeah. You get but I mean, we really started in the lunchroom where pretty much every Wednesday we made a deal. We had an unspoken agreement where
right.
I would bring my peanut butter and jelly that my mother made because I
Oh
brought my lunch.
my God.
You would have a pizza because every Wednesday our school brought pizza, and we would make the
Marco's.
Swap. Yep, we would make the swap.
Dude, your mom was the first person that I mean, I don't even know how that even started. Like, I mean, you had a PB&J, and I think it was just that innocent and pure, like, hey man, like, I like that. I want a PB&J. You trying to get some pizza for this? And
Right.
yeah, man, hell yeah.
And there,
And dude, your mom had peanut butter on both sides
Yep.
with jelly in the middle, and like
That
that thing,
ratio.
it just blew my mind. Exactly, the
Yep.
freaking ratio, dude. I mean, it just blew my mind. I didn't know I needed it, but now I need it. I mean, it's just.
But it's like when you take that bite, you know, if it's only on one side, it's like either the jelly is kind of coming to the top of your mouth or the peanut butter is coming to the top of your mouth. And you get that both sides, it's like it becomes like I don't know.
It's equal.
A perfect, a perfect
Exactly.
ratio. What's that? Fibonacci's
and it
number.
got to the point, Eli, where my mom would actually throw in an extra sandwich just to the point where once she found out, she would just throw in extra sandwiches for you.
Yeah, that was incredible, man.
But yeah, then we got into tennis, and we pretty much spent, especially during the spring, pretty much every waking hour. It was either tennis, ping pong, or hanging out. You know,
gaming.
We even played tennis on the Xbox too.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we had a mutual friend in Trent.
Yes, sir.
So that's kind of. I mean, you grew up like with Trent.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really grow up with Trent. I met him when I was like 12 years old, and so y'all were like, really, really close. I think at that time.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, definitely.
But then we met.
Right?
Yeah. We grew up maybe half a mile or less from each other, and there were many of
the Baywa boys.
Yeah, I don't know if
boys,
we consider ourselves those, but we were there. But I mean, there was a time where there wasn't a weekend where he wasn't at my house or I wasn't at his, and as we got into high school, or middle school, y'all became a lot closer. I remember you coming into Trent's mom's classroom, and we really didn't have a lot to do with each other, but until high school.
Yeah.
But damn, it was a good time. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's when we started, or I think that's what made us becoming friends kind of easier, because we knew that, we were both best friends with Trent. And so like, we knew there was a lot of common ground, but we just didn't really talk that much until, until I think I was dating somebody. And then, just so happened to be her best friend was your wife now, right?
Well, 10th grade, my wife actually rejected me, so it wasn't until senior year. I
really didn't know that.
I've got my Facebook messages to prove it if we ever want to look at those. I got shot down pretty hard, unfortunately.
Broken out.
And so Eli and Caleb and me and you, Eli, our histories go pretty far back. But, Caleb and I, we had a class maybe about 10 years ago and have reconnected a couple times, but our history really doesn't go that far back. And so just in an effort to get to know each other better, I really want to introduce our first segment, our first official segment.
Drum roll.
Sir. And we're going to refer to it as the Unrefined Introspective. And what I mean by that is this segment, we really want to dive into who we are personally, get a little bit more into, who we are as people, why we are the way that we are, stuff like that. And the first topic that I really want to ask you, Caleb and Eli, is what is your favorite saying that and why? So something that you live by, something that, really speaks to you as a human and how you live your life. So Caleb, if you could pick up off the top of your head what your favorite saying is and why, what would it be?
Yeah. Well, first, like Unrefined Introspective that sounds like a 60s jazz album, right? I swear. I can just imagine like Coltrane or something.
We're a work in progress.
This is Unrefined Introspective. I love that. I love it. My favorite saying though is probably by the great late poet Maya Angelou. She said, "I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget, but people will never forget how you made them feel." And you know what I'm saying? Let that sink in, right? That's
God dang.
It's beautiful, right?
It's a slow burn, so to speak.
Yeah.
Well,
it just, it just like reminds me that life is, although there's facts and there's reason and logic and all these things, it's like emotion is a big part of life, and you can't just ignore that side. And it's a factor in everything. And basically, I think it's just saying be nice to people, you know?
Yeah, it takes me back to one of my favorite sayings. I'm not going to go that's not my official one, but something that I really like is be the reason that people believe there's still good in this world. You know, how do you kind of portray yourself?
Yeah. Surprise
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
Like, you know, you wake up, maybe you see some of these news things we are talking about earlier, and you're like thinking the world is like, ugh. And then, you know, as people remind you, it's like, no, people can still be good. People can still be kind and, you know, respectful, even when, you know, they
Even
don't
when
like
the
it.
when the times are rough
Yeah.
and we're all going through our own shit, it's just like, you know, you have that decency and just general love to just you know, be you know, kind and courteous. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. And it kind
I
of,
think
I
one of
think it also
yeah.
kind of shows like how the whole people will forget what you did, people will forget what you said. It's like, just basically just says to me, it's like, remember what really matters, just kind of at the end of the day, you know, a lot
Right.
of stuff, little stuff,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm sorry, I cut you off. What were you saying, Eli?
Oh, nothing. I was just gonna say one of those. I guess a quote that kind of comes to mind. It's actually from a Rush song, which Rush is a rock band, which I kind of like a Rush nerd or whatever. But one of
Don't
Neil
understate that.
Peart's
You a Rush
lyrics.
stan, yeah.
Yeah, I am a Rush.
Yeah. He named
Or
53 songs off
Yeah.
the top of his head one time. So Stan is most certainly the correct
anyways,
terminology.
Neil Peart was the lyricist for the band, and most often, in most occasions, and he just writes this lyric: "If you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice." And I think that's always kind of stuck out to me because, like, just especially today, I think, you know, everybody, it's like if you don't have an opinion on something, if you don't say yes or no to something or agree or disagree with something, that, you know, you're wrong anyway. Like if you abstain from giving any
Right.
type of opinion at all, it's like you're wrong. And I think laying out and being kind of like, you know, a third party and just not necessarily just wanting to be in the middle of things. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, you know, being non-confrontational or not trying to go against the grain, you know, but at the same time, I mean, I guess I understand, you know, you definitely have to make certain choices and opinions, but I think it's just really important that, you know, you don't have to always lean one way
Right.
or the other, and it's still okay, you know?
Well, it reminds me of this thing I heard about like fashion one time, and I remember I never really cared about fashion. I mean, I still don't really, but I mean, I don't try to look terrible, but you can attest. You can attest to, like, you see me in sweatpants like 99% of the time. They say even if you choose not to participate in fashion, you are participating in fashion. Like there's no way around it. You could walk out naked. And just that quote kind of reminds me of that because it's like, you know, you
Caleb, is there
decided.
any time that you do walk out naked that I can document?
Look, listen, you can check the registry. I'm not
Oh God.
I'm not on it.
Jesus
No.
Christ. So no is what you're
Said,
saying. What about you,
anytime you
Ryan?
walk
Is
out
there
naked.
anything that you've kind of like attached
No,
yourself to?
I'm sorry.
I think Caleb's stuck on the whole thing. We can go back to that. We did have anatomy together, so I guess he's trying
Yeah.
to take a little lesson again. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Anything? Is there anything that just kind of like that you not necessarily cling on to, but just a saying that kind of stuck out to you and you've kind of always came back to? I guess. I don't know.
Mine is those who say they can and those who say they can't are usually right. I believe that as you go through life, a lot of what you do and why you do it is because you believe that you can do it. If you don't believe that you can do anything or a certain thing, then there's a good chance that you won't be able to do it. And, you know, whether it be school, a passion, a new podcast. Did I say at one point, hey, maybe I can't do a podcast? No, because if I did think like that, then we wouldn't be here, right? It's all about going through life's everyday task or even just the big life goals, and saying that you can do it, because it will make all the difference in whether or not you actually are able to succeed in that endeavor.
It's just, I feel like it's saying like don't limit yourself. Like they talk about this thing, the growth mindset. It's like if you sitting here saying, "Oh, I'm bad at math," then you will never be good at math because you'll never believe you can do it. You'll never do it in a way. I know a lot of people say that in school. I said that in school. I'm like, "Oh, I'm not a math guy. I'm an English guy." So in English classes, I would feel confident. In math classes, I would feel shaky.
Right.
But if you just go back and say, I can do math.
Right.
I can learn this. Yeah, then you give yourself a way better shot than just
it's the
missing
whole
yourself.
It's the whole mind over matter thing, right? It's kind of
or anatomy,
or at least that's kind of how it comes off to me. What about? I mean,
Thomas the Tank Engine said it best, right? I think I can. I think I can. I mean, it's really an elementary function.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, that's true.
That's a legendary quote right there. That's I'm going to change mine to that, Thomas.
Well, I think this is going to wrap up the pilot episode of the Unrefined Unwind. And just to kind of go back over what we plan to do here is just, obviously talk about just our interests and things that are going on in pop culture, trending topics, and just try to learn more about each other. And, just hope to, get into some pretty good conversation.
Yeah. And I would just to kind of build on that, this episode was pretty personal, right? We're just trying to go through, give it a little bit of background on us, but something that we also want to do in the near future is, highlight the culture of where we're from as well, and the local businesses, and, a lot of the stuff that's going on locally.
Absolutely.
Because there's so much to unpack here as well.
There's
in our daily lives.
There's just so much art, and there's so much new things that are popping up in Fayetteville. I think for the past couple of years, Fayetteville has really been trying to. It's been on the come up, so to speak. I think they've been really dumping a whole bunch of money into the city of Fayetteville, trying to get things popping, especially with the Segra Stadium and the Woodpeckers and everything coming downtown. And really, a big thing about I think is going to be in this podcast is I'd really like to invite local artists that are making music or any type of art really to come on and just kind of talk about, what inspired them to get started in, making music and the art that they're making, and how Fayetteville has kind of like shaped their art, how it is. And I always, think that would be a really cool thing to get into.
Yeah, local business owners, local businesses, as well, just new startups, and everyone's got a story, and everyone's willing to. I think a lot of people are willing to share that story too.
Caleb, any closing comments here?
If y'all know someone in the community, who thinks you want to come on and be a guest, please reach out to us. What was the email again?
Yeah, we have a Twitter page now, and it's just at Unrefined Unwind. Is that right, Ryan?
Yes, sir. Yep.
And we also have an email account. Is it the Unrefined Unwind?
Just Unrefined Unwind at gmail.com.
Unrefined Unwind at gmail.com. Obviously, if
little plug right there. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And this has been the Unrefined Unwind.